Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another day of the LCK. It is me, Valdez, with LS, a.k.a. Leandro Salesman. We'll see who picks that up today. But we have a massive day of matches today. DAMWON up against T1. DAMWON looking just incredibly strong right now. Probably the best in LCK by far, and we'll see about other regions as well. T1 looking to challenge that. And then KT versus Afrika later on today to see if Afrika can secure their playoff spot.
Yeah, and I mean, T1 coming into tonight's series, it's really important for them to try to get the 2-0 so that they tie for third place. And the rosters are already known. It's not going to be Faker, actually, going up against DAMWON in tonight's series. It's going to be Closer in the mid lane against Showmaker. And so we'll see what actually ends up happening when these two end up colliding, or if Faker will finally actually get subbed back in, if a game 1 is dropped or something of that nature. But this should be a pretty good foreshadowing of what playoffs might have in store for us, because DAMWON, like you mentioned, they're just destroying everyone.
Yeah, everyone. I mean, DRX is currently number 2. They 2-0'd them in a super fast series, and Tovi went 0-8. So if you guys didn't see that game, it definitely kind of sets the tone for every single DAMWON match that they have. It doesn't feel like anyone really can touch them, and I've been wondering and talking about it recently, can T1 with Closer in the mid lane actually challenge this roster, as T1 have been looking better, but again, they're going up against a lot of weaker teams in the LCK in a row. So has it been their form getting better, or was it just the matchups? I think we'll definitely find out tonight.
Yeah, and I need to really see what's going to happen in mid. We got the player of the game standings. I'm not even going to... I'm not forgiving you guys.
He's almost fallen off there.
You know, I mean, it's just sort of how it is.
Yeah.
But obviously, Showmaker is chasing after BDD, but I really feel like with just the nature of how all the games go, it's probably going to be really hard to catch BDD with the games that are remaining. So we'll see what does happen. Pick ban percentage, the top 5. Electric Bear at the very top, 100%. He's been banned 52.6% of the time. Set is still very high, which is extremely surprising. Ashe is also very high, but she's 2-10.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. Hasn't been finding as much luck. Caitlyn turned her luck around, by the way. This is new champion.
Disabled.
Yeah, the little fine print over there, disabled champion.
I'm so sad.
He's not going to be coming in just yet, guys, but he's here on this patch, just not able to be played in pro play just yet. So,
and this is really sad. Yone, so a lot of pro players on their streams and stuff have mentioned that apparently he's just disabled throughout Worlds. He's not going to be enabled. I'm very sad about that.
Yeah.
Like, why people sad? Like how it is, but
yeah.
10-16 patch point. Akali getting a bit of changes for her. Obviously, the E is changed up a little bit.
Yeah.
Fiora is getting a buff. I don't anticipate that any of those changes are actually going to magically make these champions get picked more. However, Lucian and Evelynn, these are two actually very big changes. The change for Eve, it might not seem that big, but it makes her early game dueling a lot stronger because the Q just comes up a lot faster.
Yep. Inside
of one-on-ones encountered inside of the jungle, as well as 2-on-2s. Lucian change is massive because, well, I mean, he just keeps getting buffed, and solo lane Lucian is obviously something that we've already been seeing, and with these kind of changes, he just gets enhanced that much more.
No doubt, I think we're definitely going to be seeing him a lot more. In some of these solo lanes, we were already slowly seeing him come back, and there were a lot of buffs, actually, on 10-16. Some little ones down there at the bottom. Was there anyone out of all of these changes that you feel like are really going to mix up things here?
So, I mean, the Hecarim change is definitely very nice, especially because he's able to be flexed in jungle and top lane as the screen cuts. So, not going to have that one. Hecarim is definitely big. For champion nerfs, though, the Karma change, it is big, but it won't prevent teams that want a Karma comp from picking her. But she won't just be a no-theme standalone champion anymore. Set finally gets gutted. Hopefully, this will finally dissuade people from stopping to just pick him at every chance that they can get. Ashe nerf just feels like it's out of left field, and then obviously the Volibear nerf is very big. Karthus does get hit in this patch.
So does Bard, which I'm a little bit sad about that one. I thought he's just really fun.
Yeah. Well, that's his actual face now. He can't believe it. He's actually just
Shock
stunned.
Pikachu Bard. He's always that way. Nimbus Cloak also gets nerfed. That's good. I mean, everybody was playing Nimbus Cloak, so... when you get a rune that literally everybody picks, I mean, not literally everybody, but it was like 80-90% of the time, especially if you were going sorcery. So they just take that away. I mean, it was only a small nerf, but it's still a nerf.
And Karthus, I mean, he's still in a buff state from where he was a couple of patches ago, so it's not the end of the world. He's still a buff version of Karthus, and that nerf is not going to prevent you from picking him when you want Karthus. So
yeah,
that doesn't really matter all that much. No reason to overreact there. Points of the match, though. The most hyped match to kick off the final week. DAMWON so close to the grand finals versus T1 getting to third place. Now, this match for DAMWON is so important because their next opponent is KT, and I think everyone would just assume that they're going to walk over them.
Yes.
So as long as they beat T1, they're probably going straight to the finals. So this is their last boss, and we'll see what T1 can manage to do about that. The head-to-head 6-2 in favor of DAMWON.
Yeah, and those are stats from before DWG was wrecking the league. You know, this was spring, this was last year, or not last year, I guess. This is only 2020, but it has been during DWG's play where they weren't having as strong of play in spring, as undefeated closers really finally put to the test. And definitely the two solo lanes are going to be a big focus. I think the solo lanes and the jungle will be as well, because it's Canyon up against Cuz. And Canyon has just been wrecking all the other junglers, so we'll see if Cuz, who does seem to be playing a bit better nowadays, can challenge him.
Yep. And we're taking a look at the match history. And T1, I mean, in 2019, they got the better end of some of the collisions. But so far, in 2020, DAMWON has really just had their number. And it's really hard to imagine T1 is favored coming in here today, but again, we'll see how the lineup with Closer is going to manage to fare as, okay, I mean, these stats, I mean, it's fine.
It's first versus second.
Yeah, it's literally what it is. And all right, I mean, it doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah. Keep in mind that T1 do have to play DAMWON and DRX this week, so they've had a relatively weaker schedule compared to some of the other top teams, such as DRX and Gen G. But still, I mean, that's definitely a good look for T1 coming into today. Being second, you can see that their average win time also went way down. They're winning much faster. They used to be the slowest team in the league in round one. So they've totally changed up their style with Closer coming into the mid lane.
We'll see what DAMWON is going to do here today. They're going to be starting on the blue side as well. So we'll see if T1 can actually utilize any sort of counter picks or anything of that nature. No surprise to their lineup. Ghost and Barrel still going to be down there in the bot lane. And Ghost not really affected by a lot of the ADC changes that have been happening lately. They're still probably going to ban out Caitlyn and whatnot and put him on the self-sustaining marksman. Kaneka's Closer, Teddy, and Effort is the lineup here. Now, I did see Faker backstage. So he is here.
Yeah.
I actually don't know if he's always been here when Closer's been playing. I think there was one time where he wasn't. Almost like there was no intention to play him. But he is at least on site for this one. So that could be sort of hinting at they might have to use him.
Yeah, I mean, if Closer comes out game one and gets crushed, I think I'm putting in Faker.
Yeah.
It's hard because Closer has been playing well, but it's been up against weaker mid lanes, and this is going to be the true test. And we also have a massive matchup up in the top lane. Nuguri, insane stats, and Kana has been slowly climbing the ladder with a lot of people calling him the best top laner, or at least one of the best here currently in the LCK. He's definitely not looking like a rookie anymore, is something I will say.
Yeah.
As here's Showmaker. He's casually 21.7 KDA, and pretty much first in everything. But you see that closer has some good stats as well.
And this matchup is, I think, going to be pretty defining. Because if Showmaker gets thrown off kilter inside of the game, that probably will heavily influence DAMWON's ability to play. Top lane, we'll see how Kana is going to manage to do up against Nuguri, because it's sort of like the triangle. I don't even want to call it a coin flip, it's just which Kana is going to show up on that day.
Yeah. Well, Nuguri got a haircut.
He did get a haircut.
He came prepared for today. Looking fresh. No massage yet.
Yeah. Ooh, that could be the downfall here.
Yeah. I mean, usually he's getting a massage by now.
Yeah.
Kana's like, oh man, I'd like a massage.
True.
But he's going to be denied that for now. And this pick ban is going to be really interesting, especially because we are on 10-16. Just want to reiterate that for everybody who is joining us a little bit late. We did go over all the buffs and nerfs and changes. And it's a huge matchup. It's the biggest one of the week. And it's very defining for this player right here and for both teams to see where they stand going into playoffs, essentially, as well as having a totally new patch. So it's going to be definitely a fun day of games, that's for sure.
Here we go. Going to get into the draft. See what the bans are going to be now that we are on 10-16. So let's see if Set, Karma, and Volibear still retain their prevalence. There's the Caitlyn ban, no surprise there, even though they are on blue side. Yone is global banned. Need to start a petition to get him enabled for Worlds. That's what
yeah.
That needs to be. That's how all the regions need to unite. But
I'm down.
it's just how it needs to be.
Yeah. Poor Yone.
Can't catch a break, man.
Yeah. And he's not at Worlds.
Spirit Realm, and now he's global banned.
Poor guy. And if he doesn't get played this year, then we're gonna have to wait until next year spring to see him in pro play. That's it's like 6 months away, or more.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, DAMWON now, they're banning away Lucian as well. Now, that strikes me more for Nuguri and Showmaker if they would want to pick it up. It is very strong on the patch, but T1, they can probably play it in all three lanes for mid-top and AD carry. Obviously, Teddy, no stranger to the Lucian, who was even picking it when it was considered a pretty weak pick historically.
Yeah.
Still opting into it, yep.
Those are the two AD carries that thought about it. And I know you've been gone for a while, but Renekton is now he's now top tier here in the LCK. And Set gets banned, even after the nerfs. Very interesting.
It is. It's perplexing, is what it is. I'm not sure what to really make of it. It just feels like sometimes in the LCK, they're very slow to... Ooh,
wow.
Lilia!
The priority.
Coming out B1, 100% win rate. One of those were a robbery.
That's true.
In one of the games.
Very true. Good old Pioshik with the steal. Up against Sodewon Prince. Have to remind us about that game as Kha'Zix being thought about here.
And is he going to get locked in? He will.
Wow, there we go.
So that'll be the answer in isolation, but Lily is a flex pick. She can go top and she can go jungle. So just having an isolation pick there is pretty interesting. We'll see what T1 tries to follow this up with. We're gonna actually go for the Ashe. Now she did get nerfed on this patch. And the thing is that you know that you're about to run into Ezreal or Senna. Now, when you pick the Kha'Zix, and you have Ashe as well, you're probably imagining Ezreal could be coming. just because he's good against both in the later stages of the game. He's able to itemize very effectively. And okay, they're just going to choose their top side right away.
And it's Camille TF. This duo is the split laning duo, the split pushing duo of death. Okay? Really difficult to handle.
Silas. And that's probably going to be for closer in the mid lane. Going up against the Twisted Fate. So DAMWON are trying to position themselves to be very strong on the top side of the map. I'm curious if T1 will now just ban away Ezreal Senna away from Ghost.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good idea. The Bard got nerfed a bit. I don't know if you would want to focus Barrel. Maybe you try to go for Pantheon if you don't want to take away both. But seeing their comp, I think taking away Ezreal as well is definitely a good idea. And DAMWON have to decide what to ban. And this is where things get a little bit weird and tricky. They're going to actually ban away the Vladimir. They probably know that T1 wants to go for another magic damage top laner, so not to significantly harm the Ashe and Kha'Zix by incentivizing Ninja Tabis to come in. Ooh, the Pantheon does get banned.
And other things of that nature. And yeah, Pantheon being banned is actually a little bit surprising. So
it's a huge amount of respect to Barrel.
Yeah, that Ezreal should come in for Ghost.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely what we should expect. What is the last ban going to be here? Ornn gets taken off the table.
And Mordekaiser being hovered, and it's going to get locked in. And this is fine for DAMWON, all things considered. They're probably not too nervous about this. And there's the Ezreal, so we knew that it was coming. He doesn't really have a very wide range of options.
Yeah, I mean, everybody forgot about Varus. I don't think you would want to play Varus here anyway. Barrel insta-locks Leona.
Yep.
That was about as fast as it can get. Felt like solo queue there. Knew for a long time what he was playing. He's great at Leona. It also denies efforts Leona, who is also a great Leona player.
And now Thresh is being hovered. I feel like the other option is Morgana in this spot. They could think that it's maybe a little bit too much magic from some of their champions. Nautilus is very surprising. Thought for sure it would have been Thresh or Morgana coming out as an answer, just because of the value that it provides. But they're really tunneling hard on trying to make picks on DAMWON's champions and suffocate them with all the champions that they've selected. So you have Ashe and Nautilus, and you have Kha'Zix there for the isolation. You have Death Realm on Mordekaiser. And this is going to be likely a very bloody game. If DAMWON gets ahead, there's basically no insurance on T1's side. And likewise, T1 gets ahead, there's no real insurance on DAMWON's side. So
yeah,
on even footing, we have a game on our hands. But if either team gets slightly ahead, it's just going to be a blowout.
Well, that's definitely how a lot of the DAMWON games have been looking. That's for sure. They play fast and loose, and they're really good at it. So if you haven't watched DAMWON, where have you been, first of all? But you're in for a treat, but it's definitely up to T1 to try to challenge them today. As here is your composition. Insane split pushing with TF and Camille. The Lilia priority was interesting for me.
Yeah. We'll have to see how they utilize it here, especially because it was B1
Yeah.
by DAMWON. Mordekaiser, Kha'Zix, Silas, Ashe, and Nautilus is the team comp for T1. And I'm really interested to watch how Closer is going to try to conduct himself here, because this is going to be his hardest match to date.
Yeah, absolutely. An immense amount of pressure on this rookie mid laner for T1. And it's about him. It's about coming into this match and proving something. And you've got Faker just waiting to take his spot back. He's like, give me Showmaker one more time, and I will make quick work. Or at least that's what Faker is thinking to himself, no doubt. So all eyes here on the mid lane for sure. I'm very curious about Cuz's Kha'Zix too, because it's definitely a pick that we haven't seen all too often in recent times, but does come out here in isolation against the Lilia. Can he pilot that to a high level?
Yeah. You're seeing it. Well, does.
Mickey D's.
Oh, yes. Welcome to the new sponsor of the LCK, McDonald's.
Wow. Where was my Big Mac? Well, I didn't get that before the games,
hopefully
actually.
Just made a lot of people order some McDonald's.
Probably.
You know, it's definitely, I don't know what time it is where, you know, everyone is, but McDonald's.
When are we getting the McDonald's-themed skins? I'm ready for that.
That does sound pretty good. Well, all right, Canyon's going to come in here. He's going to clear the Raptor camp. It's a pretty standard Lilia invade opening. Oh, he's...
Oh, Smite comes in, and Canyon just got a face check here. The Kha'Zix getting to work with the red buff. The flash coming out from Canyon, and Cuz says, well, I'm not going to flash after you. I'm only level 2. I'll get the win in the flash and let you be on your way.
And so Canyon, what he was trying to do is just ding level 2 really quick, make it over to red, and then win the Smite fight. And if that works, you just win the game. Pretty much. The enemy jungler likely won't recover from getting first blooded, having 2 camps stolen away, and then being so far down in tempo. Nuguri now on the Camille. Up in top lane, 75% win rate, KDA 4.0. See how everything goes here. Showmaker just trying to poke Closer down. Has W and E as his first 2 skill orders, just trying to make use of a lot of the auto attacks. And you can see Nuguri's confidence up here in top lane with the call. Gold card coming out. Showmaker really pressing for damage. He's already chewed through the potions on Closer, who has the fleet footwork as well. He does have a biscuit, but mid is definitely in a very rough spot, and he has to be really careful because Showmaker has Ignite with Spellbook.
Yeah, that TF is looking to skirmish early and hard. He's not going to be backing off, so that's going to put a lot of pressure on Closer, of course. We saw that Cuz does have a number of Kha'Zix schemes in his history, obviously, and does have a winning rate on that. Also has a win in this season. I mean, we saw so little Kha'Zix that I even struggled to remember that game. I believe it was round 1, but definitely a while ago.
Ooh. Oh, Cuz is not going to be coming for it.
Oh, he's waiting, and he's going to jump. He pounces on Canyon, but the Nimbus Cloak. He's very, very fast. Looks like Phase Rush comes in, and yeah, it's just not going to go down as Knees trade goes the way of Cuz. Little engaged down here on the bottom side, but doesn't look like anyone is going to fight Dust.
Teddy. Really nice focus fire, doing so much damage to Ghost during that trade. And so now, I mean, Nautilus and Ashe, they could just recall here. Which, I don't know if they're recalling or if they're going to get Scuttle Crab. It looks like they are going to get Scuttle Crab. So that's going to be their play. They have Cuz at the top side of the map. He's just continuing to clear out his jungle. And Kha'Zix, he's mostly only going to be farming. There's 0 gank set up in top lane or mid lane. And the whole thing is he needs to just sort of survive until he gets to level 6, and then he needs to pray that he gets some kills. And meanwhile, I mean, the laners for T1, they're not doing so bad. Closer has recalled one more time. He's a little bit behind in CS when you consider that they're even right now, but he's running back to a wave where some of the minions, I assume, are going to die before he gets to them. Ionian Boots was the first purchase for Showmaker.
Yeah, He's going to be looking to make plays pretty early. Here come the supports into the mid lane. Just hanging out, trying to get some vision down. Both of them level 3, so a little bit early to try to force any plays at this point in time. And we just saw Canyon farming out the last of his Krugs. He already has 40 CS, equal with his top lane, just behind Showmaker. That is the power of Lilia. She is a power farmer.
Yeah. And you can see right now on the minimap, I mean, Lilia's going to path towards the top left. You can see Nuguri, it looks like he has a freeze. And Twisted Fate has Destiny Gate. So Mordekaiser, he's level 5. He has to be very careful because he can just get blown up in a second. Now, he's almost level 6. This is the level 6 wave for Kana, so he's only a couple of minions away from it. But this would be right around the time where DAMWON is looking to actually make plays and get kills.
Yeah. Well, you can see that Closer in the mid lane, he's looking to clear out some of the vision. Looks like he took out a ward there, hopped the wall, and actually a wasted scanner by Showmaker, thinking that a ward would have been placed, but Closer decided not to place it. So a little bit of mind games in terms of the vision there. And this wave up on the top side did get pushed back, and now Kana is 6. Before, when it was frozen and he was 5, and he did not have the Death Realm available to force a 1v1,
yeah,
was definitely in a more dangerous situation. Now Kana, relatively safe under his turret with Death Realm, he's going to be just fine.
Yeah, I mean, right now, he's sitting comfortable. Kha'Zix is almost finished with his left side clear. And it really feels like DAMWON has actually missed a pretty big opportunity to make some sort of a play happen. And so this game is definitely going very slow, all things considered.
A bit slower than we would have expected. We would have expected these two teams to be looking to make some plays a little bit earlier on, or at least DAMWON, in this case, this early on, as they're going to take the Scuttle Crab again. This is the second time Teddy's going to have that big influx of gold. Even going to hit full health, full mana, essentially, gets the little plant as well. And we'll just return to lane.
Yep, doesn't bother to start up the Ocean Dragon or anything of that nature. Closer does return to the lane. He has the Merc Treads on him. Meanwhile, Camille up in top lane, only at 44 cull stacks remaining. Does look like Kana's going to go for the Proto Belt first item, but everything just going very slow, and this is very beneficial for Cuz on that Kha'Zix. Like we were mentioning in the draft phase, when the game settings are very even, it can really go either way, especially as we approach mid-game. And that looked like another very big wave that was handed over to Nuguri, who should have been able to freeze with it. And remember, Showmaker still Destiny Gate available. You can see Kana can't walk up to the wave. He has to respect the fact that his jungler's not nearby.
Yeah.
Canyon could almost be there.
It's essentially kind of idling around the Tri-Brush. Now he's going to enter lane, but you can see that Showmaker and Canyon just casually going to come over here and take the Rift Herald. Puts up the Crab Rage, says, what are you going to do about it? Absolutely nothing. As the damage out of Canyon, who already finished his Runic Echoes, is going to be quite nice to take down that objective right on the 8-minute mark.
And Kana just having the wave pulled right back into him. And again, this is one of those misaligned timings for DAMWON where they're about to get the blue buff. Showmaker's still in laning phase, but Closer's in a very comfortable spot, and it just doesn't feel like there's any opportunity for them to actually get a kill. So all things considered, yes, they have the Rift Herald. Yes, everything's continuing to just sort of scale up, but T1 on the flip side, they have a CS advantage in top. They have a CS advantage down in bottom lane, and Kha'Zix has, for the most part, had a free game so far. So without a Tier 1 Dragon or anything being taken, T1 are in a pretty comfortable position.
Yeah, absolutely. Sitting pretty for now. It's got to feel pretty good based on the way this draft went. And let's see what happens now. You see that Cuz is getting on top of that Ocean Drake, and it's going to be spotted. So pings immediately coming out And remember that DAMWON do have the ability to try to collapse early, but the priority in the bottom side looks pretty heavily in favor of Effort and Teddy. So they're not going to look to make a move as they're just soaking up that wave down there. So Ocean Drake will go the way of T1. Next one up is Infernal, which I could see some skirmishes going down for that one.
Yeah, almost certainly that should end up happening. First item for Ghost was Monomune, so we'll see when he can complete the Mirror Mana. As you can see, Showmaker, he's not really able to find any openings with Destiny Gate. And the laners, I mean, everyone for the most part is playing ping pong, and it's less punishing for T1 to do that than it is for DAMWON. And so, right now, Bone Plating does get procced.
Yeah, Effort very aggressive down there after the Bone Plating goes down, and actually Beryl just says, well, I'm going to back.
Well, do you see the McDonald's flag?
Oh, what? I did not notice that. Thanks for pointing that out. You're loving it?
Yeah.
What's your go-to meal?
Ooh.
For McDonald's?
I actually haven't had McDonald's in a long time.
Really?
Yeah.
You just order it every once in a while.
I used to order it. Actually, I think I had it a couple weeks ago, actually.
I mean, that's pretty long.
I was getting real bothered one night.
Yeah.
Right around a co-stream, yeah.
Okay.
I had to order. I can't remember what I got, though.
It's interesting. Well, I always go for the Big Mac set.
Of course.
That's kind of my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's... What do you mean, of course?
Of course. The classic.
Yeah. It's,
McDelivery is really good. Other, so I know that when I first came to Korea, it was mostly only a Korean, well, not Korean, but Asian thing.
Yeah.
Japan, Korea would have it. I remember streaming in, like, 2011, 2012, and people would be like, what do you mean you can get McDonald's delivered?
Yeah.
You know?
McDelivery.
McDelivery, yeah, of course.
Yeah. I was definitely mind blown when I first learned about that when I came here.
It used to be so much cheaper than it is now, too.
That's true.
Which, you know, that's a little sad, but...
There was like a lower minimum amount that you could order as well, but, I mean, McDonald's isn't going anywhere, so I guess they're fine to up their prices. And yeah, I mean, there's just really not much going on in the game, so we just took a moment to shill our new sponsor here of the LCK, of course. And finally, we have this Rift Arrow drop down. Everybody seems to be rotating to mid lane here, but Cuz and Teddy a little bit zoned out for now. So the charge will come in, gets a bit of damage. Nobody wants to fight, and we literally can't kill. Literally can't kill it.
No.
Okay, all right.
Oh, we got to kill.
Gonna be denied, and finally the Death Realm does come in with the TP as that yellow card going to waste here, but now Closer coming up. Canyon gonna be the first one. We got a 3-on-2, but Nuggery very low. Closer going for the kill, but it will not work out as now we have the yellow card come in, and the Lilia damage should tick down to eventually get him. They're gonna give the kill over to Showmaker. That is a 2-for-0. Cuz was doing the Wolves. And so Canyon there to help out on the gank, making it a 3v2, and then 2 kills for DAMWON.
Just like that, I mean, the game does actually blow open. All of a sudden, it's a 2,000 gold lead. Ooh, Cuz is gonna... Oh, Nuggery. Captain, careful!
Well.
Ends up getting out, and Cuz ends up blowing his ultimate. Not gonna have that available. And so just like that, the game turns on its head very quickly. And let's just take a look at how this transpires. So, Kana, very far up inside of the lane. And he knows that he had to back off. Silas is trying to come in with the teleport, and honestly, this gold card lasted a century. Ends up locking up Closer, and then he tries to trade onto Nuggery to get a 1-for-1, but just doesn't have the damage. And then the gold card plus Lilia W combo, locking it up. Lilia damage taking away, Showmaker ends up getting the kill. And just like that, we have a 2,000 gold advantage, but finally, some kills being on the board. I see a Haunting, guys. I'm
nice.
happy.
Is this your new favorite champion, by the way? Because she builds Leandries every single time. Like, every single time. So we've seen her in the LCK.
True.
Selling a lot of masks nowadays.
We have to. We got to stop Boris.
Yes, that's true.
Oh, man. He took all of the profits and the proceeds that he's made the last 2 years, and he's doing an item overhaul for season 11.
Wow.
Yeah, outrageous actually. The guy just can't be stopped.
He's doing some work. And speaking of doing work, I mean, this Infernal Drake, we talked about a skirmish over this. DWG decided they'd rather take Shirley instead. I mean, Lilia's not here, so they're of course not going to try to fight over this objective. So T1 essentially get a free Infernal Drake. Now, DWG, with this trade, I mean, they're going to have to try to really push the issue and get some kind of advantage from that. Otherwise, it's not going to be very nice. Steady will pick up all of that CS, doing very well for himself, ahead 21 down in the bottom side.
Well, things are going pretty okay for DAMWON, even though they lost the first 2 dragons. Yes, Infernal is very big for T1, but Mountain Dragon is a very spicy Drake. Because if T1 gets it, it's almost impossible for DAMWON to actually win a fight, because their champions will just lose the ability to skirmish. On the flip side, hold on.
Wow, wow. Bambi just disappears. Poor dear.
Oh no.
That wasn't very nice.
Oh, Bambi.
That was a good gank by T1, though.
That
Great
was,
setup by Effort.
Yeah.
As now we got a one-on-one up here on the top side. Nuggery's up a level, but we have Destiny Gate from the Silas coming in first. As Nuggery, here's Cuz as well. It's just a bully fest is over the wall. And he dodges everything.
Man.
Nothing is going to land on him. We got Ash Arrow now. That's going to sail wide. Hook shot number 2. See you later, says Nuggery. Effort, though, stepping up. Everybody on the side of T1 is here. No. And they're actually going to slow down Showmaker here. He's going to have the flash. That is just a casual step up and frost arrow him in the face.
That was a heist. I have no clue how he was allowed to get away with that, but he did. And this provided Ghost with actually a lot of relieved pressure down in bot lane. It does come at the expense of the flash onto Showmaker, but that's not the end of the world. That should have easily been Camille going down.
Yeah.
100 out of 100 times, but manages to find a way out, and now Shirley's going to be summoned here in mid, finally going to raise a turret, and these are going to be the first turrets of the game going DAMWON's way. And when you look at the health on all of the turrets right now, all of DAMWON's are so healthy. That is a lot of standing gold that's going to be very hard for T1 to claim. Whereas on the flip side, DAMWON's about to raise all of the tier 1 turrets. Just take a look at how this transpires. I have no idea what Canyon's doing with that attempted trade, because there's no way for him to get a sleep onto Silas, so it's not like he would ever be able to kill him. Ooh, freeze. Ooh. Don't obliterate.
Hey, he's actually taking his time with this one.
Hold on here.
Canyon spotted. He didn't obliterate until the last one,
that's
right?
true,
He was
though.
autoing. That was good. He could have obliterated the wave and immediately pushed it back. Yeah, but he didn't.
This is.
Oh, Canyon. Oh, boy. Oh, they're not going over the wall.
Fine.
Okay.
Now, is Mordekaiser doing it again? I can't tell because of the
No, it
mini-map.
doesn't look like it. I saw a lot of blue just disappear.
Yeah, I think he's instantly shoving. Well, yeah, he instantly shoved with the minions. Okay, so because he did that, Nuggery is going to get away for free. Not the end of the world, but not a whole lot going on. Neither top lane or Nuggery cannot actually push the top tier 2. And Kana, likewise, cannot actually advance too far out into top lane.
Yeah.
Because he risks just getting killed. Now, Cuz is going to shadow him right now. And that ward is not going to spot it. So this is going to be pretty interesting. Now, what Kana's trying to do is induce a hook shot. And Nuggery is saying, you know what? That is an awful bluff.
Yeah, that was really obvious. But, I mean, had it landed, he was, there's a good chance that he could have gone down. So I don't mind them for trying it. And Cuz we'll just get to work on the Krugs right afterwards. There was a large amount of gold that was just eaten up there with the 3 turrets that went down in succession after the tried play by T1 up on the top side and everybody kind of being out of position to defend their turrets.
And, well, T1, they're down 4,500 gold almost, which is a bit rough. And if they lose this mountain, it actually is extremely problematic. It hurts Kha'Zix so much. It hurts Mordekaiser and Silas's sustained damage. Ashe does not typically build pen until way later. And she's a champion that gets very hurt when the opponents just grow so much stronger in sustained trades. And you can see all of DAMWON is here. They're ready to tango. And Lilia is so strong at this stage of the game. As Ghost is looking like he wants to actually shove in mid-wave. But, okay, for some unholy reason, T1 starting Mountain.
Yep, they're going to go for it.
Realm. Oh,
they're looking at turn on to Nuguri. That's not going to pan out. Nice amount of poke damage already coming out here from DAMWON.
There's so much poke with Twisted Fate, Lilia, and Ezreal. And Nuguri, T1, they have to concede this, I think.
Oh, they're going for it, and the spike goes the way of the Lilia. So trying to fight now, the knockup on the Barrel will be good, but they actually don't even kill the Leona. He's going to get away as Nuguri here in the Death Realm. DAMWON looking to re-engage. Showmaker going around the right side. He's going to fight Teddy, and down he goes, and this will be a massacre by DAMWON over T1. They funnel them into the Drake pit and take them all down, only losing a couple of their members for it. They also stole the Mountain Drake, and that is a huge swing into the pockets of DAMWON.
Yeah, and I feel like losing that Mountain and losing that fight in that manner might just be the nail in the coffin. Now, I was mentioning they should just concede it. They're at very low HP values, and this angle of a fight is way too favorable for DAMWON. Even if Barrel goes down there, what does it really do? Because take a look at Leona for the remainder of this fight. She's not doing anything. She participates pretty much nothing. Twisted Fate just has so much value, and when Camille comes out of the Death Realm, she's pretty hungry for some kills. Twisted Fate, Ezreal, they're just going to have so much freedom inside of the sustained fight, and T1 losing the Mountain is very problematic for the reasons that I already mentioned right before it took place, and this game's looking pretty doom and gloom.
It definitely is. I mean, we talked about the combo of TF and Camille. Take a look at 4-0 and 3 TF with 3 items already. 23 minutes in, he's got the rapid fire cannon, and we also got Death's Dance and Trinity Force complete here for Camille. So the pieces are in place. Even Ezreal has hit his item spike already. Leandri's done. And there's a lot of utility items taken here on the Sylas and the Mordekaiser. But, I mean, at least they do have some items, but definitely not comparable at this point in the game to what DAMWON have. Teddy was doing a great job up until this moment. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to carry them from here, as DAMWON are Nuguri in a little bit of trouble, perhaps, if they look to try to collapse here, but DAMWON very close proximity, and they could have TF there immediately. Oh boy, this is, well.
Well.
Yeah, just going to get stunned and done, essentially. Cuz is going to get flashed on, and down he will go, as the follow-up pretty easy there. As now maybe Closer could go down as well. That's a really nice Zhonya's, as Canyon is going to try to get out of there with Zhonya's. As Closer looking to get on in. Barrel over the wall onto Teddy as well. Looking to take him out as, well.
Nuguri's going to get him.
Yeah, it's very low health bars here on the side of DAMWON, but there's very little people on the side of T1. Nuguri still on the chase. As over the wall he goes, and one slap on the back of the head is going to be all it takes. DAMWON not going to overstay their welcome. After taking out 4 members of T1 and the inhibitor, they will just look to back.
What is effort? What? I'm not sure what he was doing, but I mean, I feel like after this series of events, now the dirt's on top of the casket. That it was pretty much the nail in the coffin at the Mountain, but this is really, I feel like it's done and dusted. So you can understand what Kana and Cuz are trying to do, making a pick onto the Camille, but it's just very high variance. And this is a T1 that is very far behind with a team composition that doesn't want to be behind. We mentioned super early on that it's very snowbally in both directions with the nature of both of the comps. So At this point, they're trying to rely on smoke and mirrors, but one team has Twisted Fate, who can just instantly collapse on you.
봐도 야 카이스 뭐야 봐줘 오케이
I mean, he was pinging it beforehand.
Yeah, he
It's
was
like he knew.
suggesting that
얘까지 카이스 봐
this must be the play.
풀러볼게
I'm going flash.
나이스
Now,
Works out.
if you're a viewer and you're wondering, like, well, how can some pro players deduce that this might be plausible? Well, based on when you last saw them on the map, you can sort of tell or get a feeling for something's not quite right. They should have been visible by now. And with top lane being so absent and Camille being at that point in the lane and being so far up and still no sign of Mordekaiser, you can use deductive reasoning to reach conclusions that something might be going on.
Yeah. I think seeing it happen, we can say, wow, you know, that makes sense, but it's definitely an amazing read by Showmaker. Definitely not playing that down at all, as we see Cuz taking a little bit of damage. Effort trying to get in there, but he's just going to die. And really trying to break open the wall, essentially, for Cuz to make it in. But they're so far behind now. It's 11,000 gold, the difference. As TP is coming in from Mordekaiser, they're not even looking to fight 4v5, so a little bit confusing on that one. As DAMWON now with the Baron will be looking to push and potentially end this game.
Yeah. With the Baron and just all the advantages they have right now, they don't even seem interested in getting that Mountain Dragon. And so we're probably going to see, oh no, they're actually going to be,
oh wow,
erring on the side of caution.
Yeah, and the Mountain Drake priority too. They're like, we can't let this go, actually. Oh, they got some vision there. That's
yeah, that's a nice amount of damage, yeah.
Yeah, the Kazakhs, I mean, you were talking about it for a long time, right? If they get behind, it's going to be extremely difficult for them to even approach. And
I love this, by the way.
They're definitely very far behind.
Look at how many masks are in the inventory.
That's true. Wow.
Boris is fuming.
We got 2 here on the side of T1. I mean, that's good to see. Sales are up.
Sales are definitely up, yeah.
Coming in a little bit late, though, but, you know, at least they're there. That's double Mountain Drake now, by the way, for DAMWON. And, yeah, this is vision given by the Destiny Gate. Effort just trying his best, but...
Yeah, there's just not much that T1 can really do at this point because they can't really tango in a straight-up 5-on-5, and if they don't get a pick, nothing really matters. And even if they do get a pick, the gold gap is so big in the nature of the champions that DAMWON could probably win a 4v5. Okay, well, that's a lot of damage.
Oh, boy. Yeah. And they can do that over and over, essentially. The amount of damage they have that they can do from afar is pretty gross. And even like the swirling seedling, right? The bowling ball that Lilia's got, she can do that from very far range. You got True Shot Barrage, Ezreal Qs. Camille and TF can close the distance very fast, so from behind, oh man, Teddy is just in a really awkward spot here in the front. He's trying desperately to carry it, but he cannot, and here comes the rest of DAMWON into that back line, just gonna clean it up as not even Beryl. Oh, well, Beryl will go down. Good job, Kana, but that is going to be your only consolation prize. DAMWON are gonna shut the door on game number 1 before 30 minutes. As there you go, GG Nexus is down, and DAMWON will take the lead in the series.
Well, that's going to be game number 1 going to DAMWON in very dominating fashion, even though it had a very slow start for both of the teams. All it took was that one mistake by Kana being too far up inside of the lane for DAMWON to capitalize, Closer handshaking it and then getting killed himself. And there was really no recovery. The Mountain Drake was basically the last hurrah, and T1 handshook it, but ended up losing everything.
Yeah, just we saw the power as well of the TF coming out here once again. There's a reason why Showmaker, even after the nerfs, is like, no, this is still good. I'm just going to play it every game that I can.
Yep.
And we saw, again, going back to the draft, we saw Set Ban third, which was very interesting. I think that could have been changed up for T1. Besides that, the Nidalee makes sense against Canyon. The Volibear seems to still be okay.
Yep.
in the current state of the game, so those two bans made sense. But definitely some work can be done by T1 going into game number 2. I thought they handled the early game relatively well. Just after that, things fell apart very quickly.
Yeah.
And unfortunately. So another question, does Faker come in now? Do you think that that performance from Closer, was that the nail in the coffin for him in this series? And will we see Faker?
Well, I don't think Closer really did anything super wrong or bad. It's also just, again, this is a very hard game to play from Cuz's angle.
Oh, yeah.
And from Closer's angle, what do you really do when you can't do anything for your jungler? You can't get really prio against Twisted Fate. You can't really roam top lane. What will happen is the Mountain Drake fight, but they fell behind by the time that happened, and then they just lost a little bit of control. So it was a razor-thin line for T1 to walk. They were walking it, and then just sort of fell off.
Yeah, it's rough. Can't really blame them in that scenario, but we'll see if they can try to come back and challenge DAMWON. So far, nobody really seems to be able to do it, and there was no difference here in game number 1. We'll see you guys after the break.
들고 있어 그냥.
오케이.
내가 복귀할게.
내가 들고 있어.
야 애쉬 보자 애쉬.
네. 애쉬 필. 애쉬 잡았다. 나갈게.
야 모델 나갔어.
아, 싸움 봐. 네.
야 탈탈해.
쌀.
모델 노플 밖에 모델 노플.
나이스. 빈건.
모델 노플. 나이스.
잘했다. 와, 탑에서 그 3대2 맞고 잘했다. 자, 1등 한번 해보자.
제껴.
야, 학원이 잘했다.
파이팅. 나이스.